Here are my top lessons from being a graphic and logo designer for 10 years. Now, the first lesson is typography is the most important skill when it comes to design. Whenever you jump on a website, whenever you go into a physical store and you see labels, or when you get a package from Amazon, there's always a font family or font choice. And where designers fail is that they don't understand kerning and leading. They don't understand how to create good font combinations. They don't know what fonts work well together and what fonts actually are legible and easy to read, and also obtain that personality. You need to learn how to use fonts. Every font, every piece of text we look at has a vibe, has a personality. And so learning which fonts to use is going to really level up your designs. Especially if you want to design a logo, every logo has a brand name, and that brand name has a logo type most of the time. We have just a text-only version. And so learning how to customize a font, doing that in Illustrator, giving it some flavor, learning to pick fonts, knowing where to find them is going to be very helpful to you and increase your skills as a designer. Now, I always recommend investing in a few solid font families, ones that have a lot of styles you can work with, all the way from like light italic to like going for bold and black and semi-bold. These are just a lot more flexible and easy to use when you're creating a full brand identity for someone. So always invest in them. And I'll give you a few of my favorite places. If you do want to get some great fonts that are commercial, then I do recommend checking out Design Cuts bundles. They do specific font bundles every like 3 months or so. And so always look out for them. I bought about 3 in the past and they've served me well. Pixel Surplus also has a nice font selection on their website. You can also get fonts in the Envato Element subscription. You've got heaps of fonts in there. And another one of my favorites is BN Nix. He's a font designer. He actually gives away his fonts for free sometimes. So he does that. I think he does a free font like once a month, and they're really great quality. And then lastly, Font Fabric has been a favorite of mine as well. They give you free demos of their fonts, and they also have some free fonts there you can use, but the paid ones are very well created as well. And then lastly, if you're a designer that's just starting out, low on cash, then I do recommend going on Google Fonts. You got Adobe Fonts as well. You've also got FontShare as well. They have like 100 fonts on there. Lesson number 2 is you need to disconnect yourself from your work. A lot of designers are too emotional. They always get offended when someone gives them feedback, or their portfolio sucks, their work is not up to standard. And that's because you need to grow. You're on a journey. We're all on a journey, and you need to learn and take those years of going through the lessons and developing your skills to build that emotional intelligence. Don't be offended when someone gives you harsh feedback. Always take feedback constructively. Obviously, some people are a bit negative. If you work for like a boss who's a bit of a, annoying guy and he's a bit hard, those are specific situations you might need to get out of that toxic workplace. But anyway, the main point is design is a job. Even though it might be your passion, you love being creative, you love to create and craft designs and logos and websites, that's totally fine. But at the end of the day, you're here to get results for your clients. If you work for an agency, you're there to get results. And so you got to listen to your lead designer, or you got to listen to, whoever the managing director is or whatever. See everything from an objective point of view, and then you won't get imposter syndrome because you realize like, hey, I'm just learning. I'm a junior designer. I'm going to grow from here. I'm going to get better and better if I invest in my skills. So always see how you can improve yourself. Audit yourself every month to see, hey, can I improve in typography? Or maybe I suck at using colors, or maybe my logos are bad. I need to work in that area. Audit yourself and see where you can improve. If you are improving, then maybe start to learn how to understand the creative brief better, or ask better questions to your employer or to your client. Or maybe you should run strategy and discovery workshops. If you do all these things, then you're always going to be one step ahead. Lesson number 3 is you need to have self-confidence and persistence. When I was starting out, a lot of the times I'll get rejected. I'll submit my portfolio and my CV to like 30 places, and I wouldn't even get a response. I wouldn't even get an email back, applying for jobs, applying for internships. I did get 2 internships, and I did end up freelancing a lot of the time. But that first initial 2 years was tough, but I kept being persistent. If I didn't keep going, then maybe I would have just quit and ended up working at some crappy print shop or, some other job. So you need to always be persistent. Whenever there's a lead, a client, or a job opportunity, you need to follow up. The art of the follow-up is so important. Even if you have to follow up 3 times, 4 times, make sure you keep sending those emails. Be professional, don't get emotional, but be clear, be assertive, be confident, and show your enthusiasm. A lot of the times when I got jobs is that they liked my personality. I was very positive, I was very open, I was always humble and willing to learn, and I'll tell them that, on the interview or on a call or through email, through my tone of voice. So the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, your image, the way you talk, your body language, and how you follow up shows your eagerness, your keenness. It shows that you're passionate about design, like you want this job. And, make sure you carry that same mindset. You got to put in the work. It's called discipline. You got to put in the work, put into your skills, and also learn how to communicate effectively with people. And if you just show up every day, things will open up for you. Now, the next lesson, your portfolio must stand out. There's a lot of average designers out there, and that's why all the great designers are getting all the work, because a lot of people are average. Their portfolio sucks. Their work is not up to speed because they probably just came out of university or college, and you've got this subpar portfolio of just random projects, a few images. Because I remember that's what I had. I only had like a few images, like different types of industries, logos here, brochures here, magazine design, some weird, flyers and stuff. And it wasn't cohesive. There wasn't a consistent style or a consistent sort of portfolio. And that's what made me not get as many clients. So we know it's saturated. You need to stand out. And so make sure every cover image and every preview image of all your case studies and all your client work or your fake concept projects, make sure they stand out, make sure they pop, make sure you invest in premium mockups. Never just use free mockups, even though some free mockups are pretty good. If you're on maybe Envato Elements, Pixel Buddha, or Graphic Burger, like there's some free stuff on there, but they're not good. It's better to invest in like Yellow Images or Mr. Mockup or LS Stock Graphics. These are all great sites that I use, and they have amazing premium mockups. Because when you buy mockups, a lot of other designers who are using all the free mockups, they won't look the same as yours. Yours will be different, right? Because less designers use those mockups. So it will just like be 10 times better than what they're putting out. So start to invest in mockups that you can use and reuse on most client projects, because that will save you a lot of time. And learn how to tell stories through your case studies, through your projects. Try and state what was the problem of the client that they were facing. Maybe their website sucked, or their messaging was off, or maybe their product offering was bad, or maybe their colors didn't stand out, or there can be heaps of different problems. Maybe their ads weren't working well. Whatever it is, try and state the problem and then focus on how you did and on the solution. So you write out that solution and show how you came up with that process. You don't have to show sketches and all the whole process and every detail. A lot of people and clients just like seeing about the end result, cool mock-ups, the messaging, the logo, the website, how everything turned out. And so make sure your portfolio is a winner. Now next, specialize on one design style. A lot of designers think, oh, should I just be a jack of all trades and do a bit of everything? And I don't think that works. Like I did that, and I was just getting all these low budget clients, people from school or like old mates call me up like, hey, can you do a quick like business card and logo? And it wasn't really the best clients to work with. And so what I did realize is that for the first 3 years, focus on just doing everything. Be a generalist, dabble in illustration, dabble in design, web design, logos, do a bit of everything. Find what you love the most. When you find that thing that brings you sort of joy and happiness, and it's fun to work with, then start going in that direction. For me personally, I love doing logos and brand identities and also a bit of websites. And so I stuck in that lane, and now I'm, a strategic brand identity designer, and that's where I love to sit and to do. And also it's an industry that businesses will always need identities. Even if you use AI now, it doesn't matter. They still need a logo, they still need colors, they're going to need fonts, etc. So brand identity designers will always be in demand. You've also got UI and UX. There will always be apps and websites and stuff. So that's another good area to be in. Whereas if you do illustration, you need to be really focused on that niche and be a specific style. You can also partner up with agencies, etc. Find an area of expertise you can level up and skill and focus on, and then find 2 other skills that overlap with each other. So then you actually have 3 overlapping skills, high level skills that you can actually all make you money and that you can actually use that work together. And so then you can start creating packages, custom tailoring needs to different client projects. And one tip I've learned is that it's better to be a master of something than be a master of nothing. And so master logo design, then master web design, then master copywriting, just as an example. You can master anything, like different areas, but once you've mastered one area, move to the next. Like I was really good at doing logos, then I learned brand identity, then I learned websites, and then I also learned how to do photography. And then I started learning about copywriting, and then I started learning about sales and marketing. And so it was a natural progression. Once I felt I knew a lot, I knew basically everything that there is to that certain topic, then I moved on and started mastering something else. Lesson number 6 is you need to learn how to sell your designs. When it comes to branding, it's all about positioning. It's all about perception in the mind, right? Even when you create a brand identity, you're shaping the perception of the customers towards that business or brand. So you need to learn how to sell your designs, because a lot of designers suck at selling, right? And so when I used to do my presentations, they'll literally just show the logo. There wouldn't be any explanations on my rationale, my thinking, how I got to that design, that idea. It wasn't logical really, and it was just sort of subjective. And that's why I would do like 8 revisions and I'd get frustrated and I would be bored of that project and I want to move on. So to avoid that, you need to learn how to sell your designs. It's all about how you present your work. Learn how to be logical, learn how to inject your ideas, your thinking, your thoughts. Always create a video of a Loom or something like that where you do a recording, and it's easier to sort of talk out your designs instead of typing it over email. That's just the worst way to do it. So learn how to communicate your concepts, be confident, and also understand human psychology, what makes people tick. Understand what your clients' needs and wants are. It will really show if you listen to them during the discovery phase, because they're going to give you all these insights and your target user and all that type of stuff. You'll need to inject that into the design. Design, I feel like design itself is pretty easy to understand, like white space, contrast, learning color theory, learning all those, scale and all those other type of basic fundamentals. They're easy to understand, but the harder things is sort of learning how to sell, learning how to market yourself, learning how to promote yourself. And that's another thing a lot of designers do. They don't share their work enough. Even if it's a concept project or a client project or whatever it is, you need to share your work as often as possible, because those are designers that are going to get the most eyeballs, attention, etc. Whether it's on LinkedIn, Twitter, or Instagram, they're probably the best sites to share, in my opinion. Overall, you need to position yourself as a great designer, share great work, and communicate your designs. Learn how to do competitive analysis, learn how to research the market, and show your designs in the best possible way, where there's comparisons so they can see that their brand is way better than their competitors' brands. Lesson number 7 is always invest in yourself. This seems like a cliche one, but for me, it rings true because I've done it for so long. I've invested in books, I've invested in courses, I've also invested in coaching with some of the top designers. I joined a lot of memberships as well, whether it be on like Skillshare, courses from the future. There's also courses on like Dribble and Awards and heaps of other places where you can get courses. But for me, every time I am comfortable, I step out of that comfort zone and I want to learn a new skill, or I want to up my skills. Because if you don't use your skills daily, you start to sort of forget some of the key concepts. So you need to refresh your mind. You also need to develop high level skills that are going to be valuable to others, so you can serve clients, serve people, and also build a business that's profitable. So you can build a 6-figure business by learning high level skills. So never neglect your self-development. I love this quote from Jim Rohn. He said, "Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Don't wish for less challenges, wish for more wisdom." I like that quote because we need to think at a higher mindset, a higher level. We need to improve ourselves. We need to get better. Don't just look at these big designers and think, oh, I'll never reach that. No, they started just like you. We started out just doing the same things. I started out 10 years ago, finished high school in 2011, did university in 2012, failed for a few years. Then I found the right course for me, did 2 years, got my bachelor in graphic design, but it took, 4 years of just studying and grinding in the background. I was freelancing on the side, but it took many years to get better at design, and now I can create amazing strategic brand identities and logos that are so much better than what I used to create, because what I used to create was pretty horrible. You don't want to see it. But anyway, invest in yourself, invest in your mind, invest in your skills. These are some of my top lessons that helped me in the past 10 years. Let me know if this video is helpful to you. I'll do a part 2. And I've got heaps of lessons that I've learned over the years, but I don't want this video to be like 30 minutes long. But anyway, now if you are interested on some of the tools I use on my day-to-day basis of being a full-time designer, then you can check out this video right here on my $20,000 workspace that I use every day. Thanks so much, and I'll talk to you in the next video.